Welcome to the HEARTS Entwined podcast. In this podcast, we'll be having discussions around the secrets which attract lasting, healthy, fulfilling relationships, creating a healthy mindset, and what women should know and understand about men. Introducing your host, Lyn Smith, the Queen of Hearts, relationship expert, trainer, speaker, and best-selling author of the Cupid's Bow technique. Lyn's mission is to have a positive impact in reducing divorce, domestic violence, and suicide.
Welcome to the HEARTS Entwined podcast. This is your host, Lyn Smith, the Queen of Hearts. And today we're going to be talking about dating apps and the pros and cons. And somebody that's got fabulous experience around this is my guest, Jessica Kozlowski. Is that how you pronounce your surname?
That's like super close. Kozlowski. I honestly don't actually know how to pronounce it because my dad said that in the 40s you could change the pronunciation of your last name. So I just go with Kozlowski.
Great stuff. Okay, I'm always a bit wary about how I pronounce people's surnames if I don't know it particularly. So thank you for confirming that's okay. All right, so dating apps, the pros and cons. First of all, just tell the audience a little bit about yourself, Jessica, and how you got to be, I suppose, in the situation where you're testing out the pros and cons of dating apps.
Okay, well, just like a little bit about me, I'm a psychic medium and I'm a healer and I'm a life coach. As far as the dating app thing, I've been single for I think over 7 years now. I in the past have been in some not very good relationships, like some psychologically abusive relationships, even like borderline physically abusive, emotionally abusive, all those other things. So I've been out of the game for a really long time. I have tried on and off the dating app thing. I just haven't really had a lot of success with it, but you know, there are some good things about the dating apps, and it's different. Every single dating app I found is different. Like the people, the type of people on each app is different. So yeah, basically I'm currently in the process of finding my soulmate. I hope I can find them somewhere. I would actually really prefer to find them in person, like just run into them somewhere, but the path of least resistance is the dating apps. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Great. So thank you for sharing that. And so what have been, shall we talk about the pros to start with in terms of the dating apps that you've tried?
Okay, so pros, one, you know for sure that these people are looking for relationships. It's not like, you know, you're out in public and you see someone you think is cute in there and you're like, oh, well, maybe they're taken. I mean, obviously there are people, not everybody, but there are people on the apps who may already be in relationships and they don't have very good intentions. But yeah, it's great that number one, you already know that they're looking. Number two, you can see information about them. You can read about them before you even talk to them, which I mean, I kind of would prefer to get to know somebody through conversation. But unless the person basically just didn't fill out their profile, like there are people out there who will put in like about me and it'll be like, ask me. And I'm like, that's
A cop out.
yeah, that's no.
Yeah.
So like some people will put the bare minimum, they'll put like their age. Some people will put their height. There are apps that have like you can put your astrology sign, like if you're a Taurus or a Scorpio or something like that, you can put whether or not you drink, whether or not you smoke. But again, some people put the bare minimum, and then there are other people who put like a crazy amount of information out there, which is great. And then you also have people who are kind of negative, and it's like, what's one thing that you would like to do? And it's like, get off this dating app. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I mean, you know, it's kind of negative. I try to avoid the people who are kind of negative like that. Like I'd like to think of this experience as something that is exciting and fun. So that's just like my preference though.
Yeah, absolutely. I found that, you know, even with I've been sort of dabbling it on and off in dating apps myself over the last couple of years, and I can't say they've been a great experience, to be honest. And I've, like yourself, seen, you know, people that have put very minimal amount of information, and you think, well, how is that meant to sort of inspire somebody to contact you? Or they might make
Yeah.
a derogatory comment about their name, you know, because not many people put their own surname for obvious reasons, but they might put their own
Oh,
first name. But also you get people that put women don't like me or something like that for their username, and you think, well, how's that going to inspire a woman to want to get to know you?
Right. Well, I mean, I guess if the woman has really low self-esteem or really low self-worth, self-love, self-confidence, they would probably get those kinds of women, and maybe that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, that just makes me scratch my head sometimes. So what about the cons? And I think I can add to a lot of what I've experienced in this particular area of the dating app. So what are the cons that you've experienced?
Unfortunately, I think I've experienced more cons than pros. It's really kind of all about mindset, but what I want to say is, uh, it's really impersonal. Like it's like you're shopping. It's like you're on like Macy's or something, and you're just like swiping left on everything that you don't want and swiping right on the things that you do. And I feel like this is really objectifying. Like when I swipe left on someone, it's weird. It's a weird experience. Um, there's also, so like with Bumble, I think, like I said, every dating app is kind of different. So I found with Bumble, the men on there are generally more attractive. And with Hinge, the men are generally more responsive in terms of messages. And I say this because I think on Bumble, what happens is the guys will just kind of swipe right on everyone because the woman is supposed to initiate the conversation first on Bumble. That's how it works. And so they'll swipe right on all the women. So then when a woman swipes right on them, then they're like, okay, let me look at this profile and see if I want to talk to this girl or not. Because even though I match with people on Bumble, they just won't respond. Or maybe they decide that they don't want to do the dating app thing anymore. But yeah, so there's the swiping feeling really impersonal, the you match with somebody and then you send a message or they don't respond, or you match with somebody and they send you a message and it's like, sup. I'm like, okay. I'm like, hi, yeah, how are you? Like, it's great to meet you on here. And then you have the guys who really just don't really want to take the time to get to know you. And I say this because there's been more than one person where they're like, hi, how's it going? And I'm like, great, how are you? And they're like, awesome. We should meet up and hang out. And I'm like, so I would prefer to get to know you over a few weeks through conversation on here, before we like take the time to actually meet up and hang out in person. And they're like, okay, yeah, I understand that. And I'm like, okay, so what's your favorite blah blah blah? And they're like, oh, it's this. And they're like, we should hang out. I'm like, what? What? Like you clearly either maybe you're talking to so many women that you forgot that I said that I want to take the time to get to know you first, or you just like are completely just bypassing everything and are just pushing to get to meet in person. And yes, I understand. I like it, you can better tell like what your chemistry is with somebody when you meet up with them in person. But like I need to know that you're going to take the time to get to know me first, that you're going to respect me and actually contribute to the conversation. Then there are guys who also just uh like I have to carry the conversation, and if I find that I need to do that, then I just stop responding. I'm not really interested in that at all. Um More cons. Um there are, people who really should being it's kind of like a low frequency word, but like they really should be focusing on healing themselves and getting to know themselves before they get into relationships, because you can tell they're very jaded and they're pretty negative, and their whole bio is like, if you're going to mess around with other guys, don't even reach out. And I'm like, bro, you're not even ready to be in a relationship. You got to work on healing from these past experiences and actually become someone like that you would be okay with being with, somebody that you would want to be with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I found that, I don't know how much responsibility some of these dating sites take in terms of wanting their users to have a great experience. But I feel my impression was that there's lots of old profiles on there that are inactive because, there was totally lack of response on a lot of times that I've reached out and I've thought, it showed that it's been a good match, and then you don't get a response, and I'm thinking, well, is this an old inactive profile, and the dating sites have just kept those on just to make it look like you've got more of a choice than what you actually have.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I'm sure that there are a lot because I know even like my profile at times is just inactive and I get people that like me and message me and stuff, but I don't even like look at it because I'm not in like that headspace to be like, oh yeah, I'm interested in dating. It's really kind of like on and off for me. So, but also the ghosting thing, that is a thing. And I personally just really don't appreciate it. Like, I'm an adult and I'm talking to adults, and if you're not interested, like, you can just say that you're not. But I did have one guy who we did talk back and forth for like a couple weeks, and then we made a plan to go on a date. But first, we had like a video call. So we had the video call probably on like a Monday or Tuesday night or something, and we were supposed to go on a date, our very first date that Saturday. And so yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm excited to meet up with you in person. So then the next day I message him, I'm like, hey, how's your day going? There's no response. Okay, I'm like, okay. A couple days go by, message him again, and I'm like, oh, I'm being ghosted. This date isn't happening. He just doesn't have the courage or the guts or whatever you want to call it to actually tell me, hey, I didn't really feel like we connected the way that I wanted to. So like just say that. Don't leave me wondering for days
Mm.
uh if like are we still going on the date? Like should I make different plans? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And you'd like to think that, people could have that, bare minimum respect for another person on the site, wouldn't you? But like you say, they don't. And it can be quite a disheartening experience. And I think it's important to stress not to feel rejected by that, and just view it as they're not the person that's meant for you, and just realize that they've excused themselves from being an option for you rather than feel rejected by it.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I don't, I'm not taking it personally because I'm like the way that this guy, I guess treated me in that way of like ghosting is really more so a reflection of him.
Mm,
So that tells me that he's not comfortable with confrontation or he's not comfortable with saying how he actually feels. So there's like that a little bit of that dishonesty in there, and like I'm not interested in that anyway.
I agree. I'm just thinking from a point of view, not to you personally, but for anybody that's listening that might feel like they couldn't cope with that being the situation because they might perceive it as rejection, but you don't need to actually receive it as such, do you?
Oh, no, definitely not. Like I said, a lot of this whole dating website thing has to do with perspective or perception. So you could go about it in a way where it's really negative and you're like, ugh, I'm on a dating website. Like I don't want to be here. Or you can go about it with excitement and openness and curiosity. Like it really is about how you look at the situation and maybe like, oh, I could meet my soulmate on here. But then there are so many people who are like, ugh, I don't want to be on here. And I'm like, okay, I get it, but like the negativity is kind of a turn off. So,
Yeah, because people can pick up on energy even if you're not actually speaking, they can get, you know,
however, I am
yeah,
grateful that they're so open like that because that means that I can just decide that I'm not interested in them. Like I don't need to message them or anything. Like if that's they're showing me who they are through their profile and I can make my own decisions based off of that.
absolutely. So have you found that most, I mean, I don't know how they actually make money on the apps other than charging a membership fee, but do you find that most apps that are asking for membership fees are generally better than others, or are they more or less, much of a muchness?
Um, I'm pretty sure like all of them have an option to be able to pay more. I'm not sure about POF, Plenty of Fish. I've tried making accounts on there a couple times and then they just like disappear after a couple hours and I'm like, am I doing something wrong? Am I putting something in my profile that is uh like offensive or something? Like I don't think I am. And then I looked up like customer service, but they don't really have a customer service. They have like 10 people who are running the entire thing of POF. So there's no way to contact customer service because they only have like 10 people running it. And I'm like, okay, I'm just not going to do that one. So it is nice to have the benefits of paying for the membership, of being able to see who's actually liked you. Like, of course, you have all of these people who like you, but you can't see their profile unless you also end up swiping right on them as you're going through like that homepage thing. So the paying for the extra features is definitely beneficial. It's just, do you want to make that investment? Do you care about being able to see who has liked you and being able to do this or that? Or are you okay with just swiping left or right on the main page and then seeing who you end up connecting with?
And I think even on some sites, you can't even see the photo of the person who's liked you without actually making that investment. I know the investments aren't usually, you know, a great deal of money in terms of actually, what most sites charge for the privilege of being able to see who you're connecting with. But I think it's at least nice, even if you can't message them without, some sort of joining or membership fee, that you be able to see what they look like.
Yeah. I also know that there are a lot of people who might be really hesitant to join dating apps because, like I said, maybe some people are afraid of being hurt again. But I think it's really important for people, like when they're going out in the dating world, to make sure that you have your perception or your perception of your self-worth in check, that you respect yourself and you know how to set boundaries and you know how to say no, because I think there are a lot of people out there, especially women who are afraid of getting hurt again, but really like you have control. You can say no, you can set boundaries, you can protect yourself. Um, and get yourself out of that victim mindset, so when you go on these dating apps and you're going through this process of finding this person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, if that's like what you're interested in, you don't find yourself afraid. You don't find yourself kind of resistant in that, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. I think it's important that we, approach it, like you say, with a positive mindset, having worked, I suppose we're all a work in process continuously. We're out for our lives. We'll never get to a point where we're completely 100% sorted, but, at least worked on yourself, like you say, to the extent where you have healthy boundaries in place and, you're entering into it in a positive mindset.
Oh yeah, like it's funny. My first relationship, I was with a guy for a year because I didn't know how to confront him about, basically the guy kept asking me out and I kept saying no, and then eventually I was like, fine, we'll do like a 2 week dating trial. And then he changed his relationship status on Facebook to in a relationship with Jessica Kozlowski. But because I didn't know how to set boundaries or say no or confront people at that time, I just let it go. And I was like, well, I guess I'm in a relationship now. And then I was with the guy for a year before I broke up with him. So, like I said, being able to say no and set boundaries and have difficult conversations is really important when you're going out there and like connecting your life with somebody else.
Absolutely, because I think, I can put my hand up and say I've had my phase of being a people pleaser and accepting unacceptable behavior from people in past relationships. And that's because at the time I didn't realize, in my own mind, I was sort of viewing it from a point of, well, I'm being the bigger person by being forgiving, but actually it was a lack of healthy boundaries. That was the reality.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So in terms of potential red flags then from anybody that could potentially be a scammer, Jessica, have you had any dealings with people like that?
A scammer. Okay. I don't believe I've had anything about people trying to scam me. I mean, there have definitely been things I've seen on profiles that would be red flags for me. It depends on the person. And it might not even necessarily be, quote, a red flag. But for me, something that would turn me away from somebody would be if they put that they drink frequently. I don't drink myself.
Hmm.
So that is just something I can tell, like we wouldn't really mesh like that. They could put that they do drugs. And to me, that would be like, no, no, I'm not really interested in somebody who does that. I think red flag could be, oh, people who say things like I'm open to the whole pronouns thing. And I saw one guy had as the last sentence in his profile, and it was like swipe left if you use pronouns. I'm like, literally everybody uses pronouns. I use she, her. Everybody uses pronouns. So you have people who are like really closed-minded like that,
Mm.
who will show themselves immediately. And I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of a red flag because I personally don't want to be with somebody who is not open to different perspectives or opinions or things like that. So as far as scammers, no, I haven't had any scammers. I didn't even know that that was a thing, but that's really interesting
I
to think
think
about.
no, I think from a point of view of I don't know whether it's just a European thing then, but we in Europe have a lot of Africans who try and scam women out of, and especially and vice versa, scam men out of money through dating apps, and they pretend, by using another person's profile picture, putting fake profile information, and then never get to the point where they want to get on a video call with you or want to meet up, because they're just nurturing that relationship from a point of view of eventually getting you so comfortable that you'll be willing to send them money. And usually the reason is that they're stuck somewhere in another country or something like that, and the reason they usually give for not being able to get a video call is because they're on an oil rig or they're in the military or some job which makes it a little bit difficult, but not impossible. You know what I mean? And it just, to me, I've seen quite a few of those, and I know they're red flags for me straight away.
Yeah. So again, with the boundaries thing, like you can, even if you believe the story, even if you believe like, oh, this guy is on a military base and he can't get on a video call with me, you can still decide like, okay, if this is true, it's not his fault, but I'm still going to choose to not be in this situation. Like again, it's not the guy's fault if you want to believe that, but you still don't have to partake in it. You don't have to participate in this. And you don't need to feel bad about it either. It's about your comfort level. If you're not comfortable, and of course, if anybody's asking me for money on dating websites, like that is so a red flag. Mm-mm, don't do it.
And it usually will probably start off with a small amount to start with, but then progressively get more. And I've known women that have been scammed out of literally thousands, and even their life savings, some people. And these are intelligent women, they're not stupid, but they just, I suppose, romanticize the fact that they're in this fantasy relationship, and they're so trusting of believing that the person they're speaking to is who they say they are.
Yeah, yeah. Thankfully, I have not been in a situation like that. So I don't really have a lot to say on that besides just listen to your gut. If anything feels off and anybody's asking you for money, I wouldn't even do it. I wouldn't send anybody money unless like you fully trust this person, you know them in real life, you've known them for a long time. And also if you're ever going to give anybody money, like if you're letting somebody borrow money, you need to also accept that you might not see that money ever again. Like you need to be okay if that person doesn't pay you back.
Yeah. And I think, the trouble is that there's so many lonely, vulnerable people out there, and that's obviously the people they target. And I just wanted to, give people the heads up and create that awareness around, sometimes that's the reality of who's behind the profile.
Yeah. It's funny. I also remembered from when I was doing the dating apps years ago, because like I said, I've done this on and off. There was one guy, this doesn't have to do with this is kind of like a funny story, but it's also not. I was kind of naive. So this guy, I thought it was funny. He had a profile picture of him. It was like a hunting photo, but it wasn't an animal, it was eggplants. And I thought that was funny because like I don't like the hunting photos. I don't like the fishing photos. I don't want to be with somebody personally who hunts or fishes because I am really, really connected with animals.
Yes.
So, but yeah, so this guy was funny. He had a photo of him in the gym wearing an elf costume. I'm like, wow, I like this guy's personality. So we talked not even 24 hours, and then at some point he was messaging me and he was drunk and he said he was lonely and things like that. And at that point I decided I wasn't interested in him anymore, but I was trying to be nice. to make him feel better and like comfort him and stuff. And uh he said something like, oh, he was upset. And I said, normally what I do when I'm upset is I stuff my face, LOL. And he said, the grammar is really important here. He said, I'm gonna stuff my face and stroke it. And I'm like, why? He's gonna stuff his face and then he's gonna stroke his face because there was no comma. So I'm like, what do you mean he's gonna stroke his face? So then I was like, oh, haha, that's funny. And then after telling this story to, oh, wait, continuing from that, then eventually he was like, I wish you were here. And I was like, we've been talking for less than 24 hours. And then he unmatched me. So, yay. But then after telling the story to three different people, I realized finally what he meant by stroke it. And I was like, oh, that was super inappropriate. Like I said, I didn't even know. I was like, what? Why would he stroke his face? I'm gonna stuff my face and stroke it. Okay. So again, another example of somebody who is on a dating app who I think that some people try to distract themselves from their own problems or from dealing with their own emotions or their own traumas by finding somebody else to focus on. So that's another thing to kind of be careful of as well.
Definitely. So on a more upbeat note then, have you found any particular dating apps that, have better quality, I suppose, options than others?
It depends. Like I said, it depends. Like I said, Bumble, I feel like the men on Bumble are generally more attractive, but also the whole thing is only the woman can initiate the conversation. So you could match with somebody and you can say something, but then you might not get a response. And at that point, I think it's probably because they're swiping right on everybody. And then they'll look at the profile once somebody matches them. Hinge has, you get more responses from the men there. And I like Bumble and Hinge because they have the option to put like your zodiac sign. And I like that. I like looking at people's zodiac signs. And I know like me as a Taurus, I would not pair up well with somebody who is a fire sign and maybe also not even an air sign. I would do well with another earth sign or another or a water sign. But anyway. Then I'm also on, what's it called? Match. That one is kind of a hit or a miss. That's the one that I'm actually paying for. I wouldn't say that I've been super impressed because there's a lot of people that match me that I really would not be interested like at all. But of course, like that's the risk you take when you're on a dating app. You swipe right on somebody that you're interested in, and that person could just have like absolutely zero attraction towards you. But again, like I said, I would prefer to meet somebody in person because then I could get to know their energy in person. I could get to know their personality. So the dating apps are really not, they're really impersonal. However, it's up to you, like what works for you. If you're somebody who would feel more comfortable being the one to initiate the conversation, then Bumble is definitely for you. If you are somebody who would like to have more conversations with people, I think Hinge would probably be the better one. If you like the zodiac sign thing, then Hinge and Bumble are the way to go. So, and I know that there's also Facebook dating, and I did that for a little bit years ago. I don't even know what it looks like now, but I deleted my profile off of that because it just wasn't working for me. My best friend found her husband on Plenty of Fish. So you could try that as well. Like I said, I've tried making a profile on there a couple of times, but for some reason it just gets removed for I don't know. So try all of them. Make a profile on all of the apps and then decide, because it is kind of exhausting, but also like, okay, it's exhausting having multiple profiles, like on multiple, not multiple profiles, but a profile on multiple dating apps. However, you do have more options then, but you will also see that there are other guys out there who do the same thing. Like they will like you on this profile and this profile and this profile, even though you already swiped left on them from the first profile. It's like they're kind of persistent like that.
Well, sometimes
So
that's
try all
nice
of it.
to know that you're at least being attracted to some people.
Yeah, and you can also tell that there are guys who have something that they send, especially if they don't realize that they've liked you on more than one profile. They send you a message on one profile and you're like, that's a really thoughtful question. But then they send the exact same statement to you from a different profile. And you're like, oh, that's their go-to. That's what they send every woman. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
that's
And then
their
I'm
cut
like,
and
oh no, I'm
paste
not.
message sort of thing. All right, Jessica, well, we're almost coming up to the end of the episode now. So I'd just like to give you the opportunity to share which is your best form of content connection in terms of any audience members that would like to connect with you.
So the best way to contact me, there's two. One would be to email me at psychicmediumjessk@gmail.com, or you could call or text my phone number, 484-665-2203. I expect to have that number for a very long time. So yeah, I have Facebook and TikTok and Instagram, and I can give you that information then for the show notes. But yeah, so email is probably the best bet. I check that very frequently. So yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, it's been a fascinating conversation, Jessica. Thank you for sharing your personal experiences and being vulnerable enough to and courageous enough to share your insights around it.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me on here. It was nice talking about all of this stuff.
So it just leaves me to say, listeners, that true love starts with opening our hearts. And until next time, goodbye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Hearts Entwined podcast. You can follow Lyn via the Facebook group Two Hearts Entwined, or search Lyn Smith, inspirational speaker, at LinkedIn, or email lyn@hearts-entwined.com. That's LYN@hearts-entwined.com. Remember, true love starts with opening our hearts.